Geometry, Unit 8, which is Chapter 6 of the book, Section 5, the circumference and diameter ratio. Now, as you can see in this picture, the circumference is the physical distance around the circle. The diameter goes from one point to another point, going through the center of the circle, and the radius goes from the center of the circle to a point on the circle. Now, the equation for the circumference is directly related to the diameter, which of course is then related to the radius. So our equation is fairly simple. C, which is the circumference, equals the diameter times pi. Now pi is the number 3.14159, and it keeps going. And then also the circumference we can put as 2 pi r. Well, where's 2 pi r coming from? Well, the diameter is equal to 2 radius, so it's just substituting in 2r where the diameter is. And there's my equations for the circumference. So let's use that idea to solve for a couple of problems here. So problem 1, I got the circumference is 15 pi. So remember, circumference is diameter pi. So I got to solve for the diameter. So 15 pi equals diameter pi, divide by the pi's, and you're left with diameter is 15. Let's look at number 2. Circumference is the square root of 10 pi, so that equals the diameter pi. Divide by the pi's, and you get the diameter is the square root of 10. All right, now we got the radius is 18, and we got to find the circumference. Well, remember, circumference is 2 pi r. So circumference is 2 pi times the radius of 18. So 18 times 2 is 36 pi. Now, all these I've been dealing with pi. I don't deal with that number 3.14. I just leave it as pi. And that's what we're going to be doing. Is we're always going to be leaving things in terms of pi. So we're going to always have pi somewhere in there. All right, number 4. Circle A has a radius of 7 and a circumference of 7 pi. What is wrong with this? Well, let's calculate the circumference given a radius of 7. So circumference is 2 pi times the radius of 7. So that's 14 pi. Well, that doesn't match circumference given. Well, let's work the other way. Well, if we're given circumference is 7 pi. So if we're going 7 pi, so that equals 2 pi r, divide by the radius, then divide by 2, and I end up with the radius is 3.5. That again doesn't match the radius of 7. So that's what's wrong there. A radius of 7 could not give us a circumference of 7 pi, and vice versa. 7 pi circumference could not give us a radius of 7. Now let's go back and solve some unknown angles and arcs, doing a little bit of review of previous concepts. So let's see what we have here. This angle here, 76, creates this arc. Now, from previous, we learned that the tangent, the angle the tangents create, is supplementary to that arc. So this arc is 104 degrees. Now let's look elsewhere. This inscribed angle and this inscribed angle create the same arc. That means those angles are congruent. So this angle is 90 degrees. Look, we've got a triangle. 42 plus 90, 48. 48. And then this is 132. Another triangle, so angle C is also 42. And then we have, since this arc was created by a 90-degree angle, it adds up to 180. And then this part of it here is 104. So that means this part has to be 76. This inscribed angle, which is 42 degrees, creates this arc, Remember, arcs are twice the inscribed angle, so it's got to be 84 degrees. This arc, sorry, this inscribed angle created this arc here. Twice that measure is 136, but this part of it is 76, so that means this part here has to be 60. And then we know this has to add up to 180 because the other half added up to 180. So that gives us this arc here is 36 degrees. Now we can use an inscribed angle here. This angle here is an inscribed angle right here. It's 38 degrees. This adds up to 180 because it's a linear pair. So this has to be 52 degrees. And angle D, we have a quadrilateral in here. It's a little busy, I know, in here. There's a quadrilateral, so that adds up to 360. So angle D has to be 70 degrees. And there we go. We solved for all the unknown angles and arcs. And that is the end of this lesson.